streaming on the internet, streaming on Facebook in the group. Looks like I am. It's great to be here today. If anybody's joining me or they jump on later on, then give me a like or a comment. If you have any questions, too, pop them in the comment section under the video, and I will answer them. Hi, Robin. I can see, that you're here with me. So thank you. It's nice that you're here with me. So today I wanted to jump on and do a live Q&A in the group, just about questions that I've been receiving from women about the MotherWay course that begins on the 22nd. So I thought I'd just jump on and just do a live Q&A about some of the questions. And if you have any other questions that you think of afterwards, after this live call, then just put them in the comment section and I'll answer them, or DM me and I can answer them through private message. But often it's really good to put them in the group so everybody can see them, because other women might have the same questions, and if you ask the question, then you could clarify that for them as well. So okay, so I'd like to thank everybody for submitting questions as well for this live Q&A today. So thank you for that. And if you see some smoke, I've got a little bit of smudging happening here. So I'll just send that through the screen towards you. It's been a really, quite a introspective week. The energy in the world right now is, it's really intense, and it doesn't seem to be alleviating. So I'm doing a lot of practice of rooting myself into my body, and doing that with my children, and taking a lot of time to just be in rest. And so I just kind of wanted to share that with you, and and just kind of smudge through the screen there. And I just hope that you're able to find that rest and respite and that inner resource that you're needing right now in order to navigate these new times and what is actually building into a new way in the world, a new way of being. So be gentle and kind with yourselves. So the questions that I had coming through, the first question is, how much time will I need to dedicate to the teachings every week? So the MotherWay course is a 12-week course, and I've actually created it as an oral transmission. So myths and stories and embodiment practices and meditations, as well as the teaching. So what I mean by oral transmission is that we come together every week in a live format, in a Zoom call, where I give you the teachings and the wisdoms. We work the practices together, and then you kind of move those practices and those new teachings into your everyday. So it's not a lot of homework. I didn't want this to be a homework. I think we've got enough to do. So I wanted it to be a natural and enjoyable experience that you can actually work into your everyday. So the call is scheduled for every week. There is an extra call in there. There will be practices in the portal as well that you can use in your day to day. So it would be an average estimation of about 1.5 hours to 2 hours a week. Commitment. And if you kind of can't catch a call one week, then you can always catch up with it at another time, or do 2 calls through the week. So it's really, there is some flexibility to take it at your own pace as well. I mean, it's ideal for you to be at the calls, but if you can't be because of time difference or because of family commitments, then you will still get the benefits of joining the call at a later stage through the recording. When will the calls be held, and will they be recorded? They will be recorded. And I've scheduled the calls to be every Saturday at 2 p.m. to 3:30 potentially 4, just depending upon the opportunity for sharing and questions after the call. But I'm going to try to keep it in that 1.5 hours. And that's 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. There's just 2 calls through the course of the 12 weeks that are on the Saturday, and one is on the week of November the 14th. I'm moving that call to the Friday, and I've got an extra module for parenting for unmothered women, which will be on that, which is around that same time as well. And that's was on Wednesday or a Thursday evening at 6, or Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I kind of put it on the Saturdays, so at that time, because it fits around my work, my family commitments, which is really important, my one-on-one sessions, but also that it gives other women from other countries an opportunity to join the live call with me. So what support will be available throughout the course? So I've created a private Facebook group. It's not this group, it's another group. It's for women who have purchased the course and working through the course with me. There'll be time for sharing at the end of every call. I will open up the space for sharing in the group and for any questions that you may have. And you can also ask those questions and share any processes or insights that you are experiencing in the private Facebook group as well. And there's an opportunity to work with me one-on-one. So if you want to go a little deeper, you're needing some extra support, guidance, you want it tailored to what you're needing, in particular for the areas where the mother wound is affecting you, whether it's in relationship, your health, career, with your inner self, there's opportunity to work with me one-on-one. And I also want to point out too that with the group, when we move through the course together, the collective energy of the group of other women journeying this journey alongside you is also an incredibly valuable resource and support system. And so you're not just working with me, you'll be working with other women as well, and the collective energy of the group is also a really supportive and beautiful space to be within while we're journeying through healing the mother womb. Another question is, I'm worried it will affect or hurt my relationship with my mother. And that's a big one, because when we move into this work, it can be a very feeling very personal in direction in relation towards your mother, your relationship with your mother. So the way we move through the mother wound is we work at taking the personal stuff out of it. It's very personal. Don't misunderstand. You will relate the work to yourself and your experience personally, but we move through in a symbolic sense. What I'm guiding you into is being resourced internally, cultivating your inner mother and remothering yourself. And in that process, we dismantle what it is personally to you, and we start to take it symbolically as a way of empowering, of bringing opportunity, of growth and healing through the wound. We plant seeds in the wound for it to grow. It's not a personal attack against your mother or your mother, your relationship with your mother, or even your family. It is a very personal journey inward, and it's not necessarily that you need to share that journey. It's not a recommendation or a practice that you share that journey with those people that may have had a contribution to that wound. That is a very personal and very natural and innate way of how you explore the wound. There may be times in the future when you've healed the wound, or you're well into healing the wound, that you can explore the wound or the effect of what that person or your mother had in creating that wound. But you also have to be aware that there may never be an opportunity for that. And it's not about changing the other person. This is not what this work is. It's actually about learning how to navigate and support yourself through that journey, through that healing that wound, without requiring the other person to change. Because the change needs to take effect within, internally first, for the change to actually show externally. Because we're resourcing within, not externally. To heal this wound is not with an expectation that your mother's all of a sudden going to be everything that you need her to be. But what happens is that you become everything that you need for yourself to be. And so the mother relationship with your own mother and your family then will shift in axis into a better, more boundary-filled, more boundary clear space where you're able to be yourself, where you're able to move in and out of that dynamic in a way that supports you, in a way that keeps you safe and keeps you resourced within. So this is not about you and your mother. This is about identifying this wound that's holding you back in your life, and how you move from a place of being completely locked into that personal and debilitating and corrosive state, and corrosive, that the wound in that corrosive state, and moving into a space of thriving and seeing that wound as an opportunity in order for you to go through, and to see it as a way to accept it, and see it as a way of reason as to why you are the way you are, and bringing love and self-compassion and resourcefulness into that space. The fact that you can't change a relationship with your mother, but you can certainly transform how you show up to it and how you are utilizing that wound and the energy and the things that are being brought up in you. So we really approach it from a symbolic perspective of you taking ownership of your own healing and transformation, and the opportunity the mother wound brings, because it's a very powerful portal to go into, and it can really heal a lot of areas in your life in a really in kind of one journey, essentially. So bring a symbolic place instead of such a personal space. And I've had this with clients too that have had mother wounds, but they've had antagonistic relationships with their father. And I want to point out that an antagonistic relationship with your father, at the root of that, is a mother wound component, is when we don't trust in the masculine, in the father figure, in the masculine or father wound, then often underneath that is a mother wound, is an actual mistrusting of the feminine, is a mistrusting of the woman, of the mother, of who birthed you, who brought life to you, of the great mother as well, because she's interconnected with who we are. We are not separate from our mother. We're not separate from the earth. We're not separate from, we are taught to separate ourselves from our own innate nature. And so when we have an antagonistic relationship with our fathers, it is often because we don't trust in who we are, and we haven't been resourced within. And we have, the mistrust has come from, initially from the place that the mother hasn't provided that stability, safety and support for the woman to feel resourced and to feel that she's able to be empowered or rooted into herself in that relationship with her father. A father wound is a seeking of the father's approval, of the validation of the father. And so when we're starting to seek validation from the father, it's actually the validation of the mother that abandoned us, perhaps, the mother that, was not able to have a strong and empowered relationship with her husband, with her own father, with the culture that tells us that we need to be something less or more than what we are. So the mistrust of the masculine needs to be remedied first with trusting the feminine, trusting your own innate knowing, trusting who you are on the inside, resourcing yourself within. And then you can look at the father wound, you can look at the masculine role, you can look at that antagonistic relationship with the father. And I have worked with clients who have lost their mothers have died, and they have an antagonistic relationship with their father, and the impact that it has had in working through the mother wound has allowed them to feel more inner peace and a sense of acceptance for the father, and understanding that they're not going to receive the validation and what they need from the father, because what they truly seek is that from the mother that's no longer here, or cannot give the daughter that, because she's not resourced in herself either. So the mother wound is even underneath that antagonistic relationship with the father, and it can be transformed into a much more peaceful space. And I've had a personal experience of that with my own father as well. It can be transmuted into a much more peaceful and accepting place when we are resourced within, when we are healing our own mother wound. Do I need to understand spiritual ideas, philosophies, or concepts to do the course or to work with you? You don't need to understand any spiritual ideas, philosophies, or concepts. I will talk about my own understanding as an energy healer and my own teachings from my journey and from my qualifications. And if there's any places that you don't understand, there's anything you don't understand with what I'm sharing, I really invite you to ask the question, because if you're feeling that, there's going to be a lot of other women in the group, who may be feeling that as well. And you don't need to understand this terminology. I can explain it. We don't go too much into things like chakras, though we do touch on it. We don't go, we do ceremony. There is a guidance in ceremony that I guide you into. We will talk about energy and the disease and the energy of disease in the body. And that is all part of the course. So I'm walking you into an exploration of healing the mother wound, not just in spiritual terms, but also in embodiment and somatic ways, as well as meditation and visualization, which I'll be guiding you through, as well as nutrition. And though I am rooted very much in spirituality and my own spiritual path, I have had a very atheist approach to spirituality, to my teachings, to my healing path. It is something that I have cultivated over time, it has grown with me, and a lot of it's pretty rooted into everyday living and what everyday living is, as a mother, as a wife, as a woman. And so there's esoteric stuff coming through. You don't need to know about it. I will be teaching you about it. And if you don't know, I invite you to ask, because it does really bring more, deeper understanding into healing the mother wound in that process. But it also gives you an opportunity to grow that, if that fits for you, in your way. My way is my way, and I'm sharing my way, but I hold that very loosely. I'm very open to questioning, and I invite questions, and I invite skepticism into spirituality. Skepticism is so important. Curiosity is a spiritual practice, and I really encourage everybody who works with me to question, to ask, to root it in for themselves on how it feels right for them. So you don't need any understanding of what these concepts are. We won't be going really deep into those concepts like chakra systems. We will be touching on disease and the energy of disease in the body, and the cellular structure of disease in the body, and how that comes through the mother line. And I will be explaining that as we go through the 12-week course. Do I need to have done work with you before to join the course? You don't need to have done work with me before. I'll start out, you know, again with an intro, and we'll build up. I'll be walking you into the course, into the journey, and then walking you out the other side. So we start in a very, you know, we start kind of at the top level. It's like a layer. It's like a descent. I'm taking you in. So we start at kind of the top, and then we work down into the shadow, into the crux, into the guts of it, and then we come out the other side. And don't let that kind of you know, that, of course that may invoke something inside you, like, oh my goodness, we're going into the crux, into the shadow. And remembering the shadow, we are built, as women, we are built for this. Every month we are cycling into the shadow and out the other side. This is a cyclic, natural process for us, and you will be surprised at how much shifts and transforms in that space when you go in and when you come back out again. And so, you know, if that's, you know, I don't want to, you know, it's a safe place to go into. And so I guide you in and I guide you out. And in going through those layers, get you, you know, an understanding too of how I work, and you're held at each of those layers. You're guided through, and then you're guided out the other side. And that's the beauty of this 12-week course, is that we have the opportunity to be in the time and the space in order for me to do that. So it's an amazing journey, be able to have that time to be able to walk in and walk you out again. So how will it help healing the mother wound? How will it help my health? So what we do with healing the mother wound and learning to remother and cultivating and growing that inner mother is I'm teaching you how to listen to your body, how to listen to the rhythms in your body. Your body is constantly communicating with you, and we move into understanding the cellular structure in our intuition, our mother line. We learn to listen to the patternings and the rhythms and the cycles in our body. And how healing the mother wound helps you is that you start to recognize the impulses or dis-ease, an imbalance in the body, in the structure of the body. So what I'm guiding you through is understanding where health, you know, disease in health manifests from the ethereal realm, from a thought form or an energetic impulse outside of you, and moves into your body and then lodges in the body if it's not worked through. And that's what I'm teaching you with healing the mother wound, is trusting in your body and the practices and processes that you can use in order to build that relationship with the health in your body. So you know when you're well, you know when you're not well, and you know what to do when you are in a space of dis-ease or disease. How will it help me with my relationships? Healing the mother wound is, we talked about in the mini series. Healing the mother wound is first about resourcing yourself and trusting in who you are internally. And once we start to build that intimacy and understanding and relationship within ourselves, then as a roll-on effect, as a gift, then those relationships around you are innately and naturally, you start to work on those relationships around you. And you can start to identify mother wound dynamics in your relationships. You know, for me, in my relationship with my husband, I can identify really clearly where my boundaries are not being honored, where I'm not honoring my own boundaries, where the cycle of the mother wound is playing out. And so that I can create, places of safety, of nourishing, replenishing practices and places where I can go in order to actually help my relationship, not just with myself, but with my husband, and also with my children too, with my friends. I'm just much better equipped to check into my body, to see what I'm feeling, to see how the relationship's feeling, experiencing what the other person feels like to me and how they're showing up. So it gives you the tools to discern on how to support yourself, how to heal this wound through through being in tune, resource within, in touch with how you're feeling, you know, how your body's feeling, how your emotions are feeling. And so it helps you in your relationships because you're able to then guide yourself and create those safety and those relationships around you that are going to support you and continue, you know, as you're continuing on your healing path in healing the mother wound. And I found this work really revolutionary for me, for my my personal relationships, and it's been actually quite transformational in seeing how it reshuffles things, but also in seeing how I can best invest in the relationships that are really important to me, where I am not feeling diminished or not feeling that I have to exile parts of myself, so that I can actually be completely embodied as who I am. And it's been an amazingly empowered process to be able to heal my mother wound and the positive effects it has on all my relationships. It seems too much to take on now. You know, it doesn't feel like the perfect time in what's happening in the world. So this is a really interesting question, because I actually asked this question myself when I decided to create and birth this in, you know, in a pandemic. And what I know from the work for healing the mother wound for myself is that when the current global crisis emerged, I knew my resources were internally. I knew what, and I had 3 weeks. I knew what to do, what I needed to implement, how I felt, and how I needed to activate my thriving instincts, my resilience. So I went straight. I had 3 weeks when it first kind of blew up, of fear and overwhelm and what am I going to do? The whole world's going to change, a lot of grief. And so in that 3 weeks, I was able to mobilize and resource and pull from my resources within, and then start to move my out of a space of fear and overwhelm into a space of confidence, of empowerment, of thriving. And what you're seeing now is I've actually birthed and created this, the MotherWay Course, and it kind of sparked at the beginning of this pandemic. You know, interestingly enough, this work is so intrinsic to what's happening in the world right now, and it may feel like another to do, but we are moving into a whole new world. We don't know what this world's looking like. We are still in the middle of what essentially is countries in lockdown, feeling combobulated, they're feeling fear, they're feeling anger, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're, you know, losing control, they don't feel supported. They're looking, you know, in the world that they knew and they felt resourced in is now no longer supporting them and guiding them. And so this is the actual most perfect time to move in and do this work internally, because it brings you from a space of externally resource yourself to internally resourcing yourself, and growing those resources, that intuition, that inner power, that potential, that strength that you have innately in you, and bringing back all those parts of you that are exiled, that you're going to need in this new world, that you need right now in order to guide yourself and your family into what will be our reality in the future. You know, I don't know what that is at this point. I can't control that. You can't control that, but you can control how you show up. You can control how you're resourced. You can be using your inner resources and the resources that you have around you now, and seeing the opportunity that is actually a tremendous portal of growth, that you can actually tap into that potentiality right now and start to build a foundation for what your life and your family's life is going to look like in what you, or make those decisions when this new world is clarified on how you're going to move into that space. So this work right now is so crucial to your own development and growth, and the thriving of your family in what will be a new world when the current situation kind of it dissipates, you know, in the future. How will healing the mother wound help me to dissolve my creative blocks? Which is a really amazing question as well. When we heal the mother wound, we actually identify really clearly what is holding us back and how to activate our creative flow. So creativity comes from our second chakra, which we talked about in the free series as well. And in the 12-week course, we will be going into that, into our pelvic area, into our center of power, and we will be activating creativity and moving and dissolving those blocks that are blocking that creativity. And when we heal the mother wound, an inherent gift of the journey is it frees up creativity. We start to bring through those exiled parts, those parts that we were told were not good enough, there was no place for them, they were unworthy, you know, they weren't safe to be a part of the family, that you would be more welcome without them, that you would be more loved without them. So those exiled parts of who we are very much linked to our creativity, to our innateness, to our unique way, to our dharmic thread, to our medicine, to what we're here to bring into the earth as women, as partners, as parents, as people in the community, in our career, in our business, in every area of our life. All those exiled parts of ourselves are intrinsically connected to, to these blockages that we have, in particular with our creativity. So as we move through healing the mother wound and go through the mother wound journey on the 12-week course, we will be looking at those blocks. We will be dissolving and dismantling those blocks, and in that dismantling and dissolving, and we bring more creativity. We connect to a deeper level of who we are and what that creative impulse that needs to come through us. So it really helps amazingly in moving through creative blocks. I'm a writer. I know women, I've worked with writers before, business owners. I've worked with, artists, and every woman I've worked with, and I've even worked with men too, and healers, and every person I've worked with in healing the mother wound and this journey and my gifts has moved their creative blocks, and they get a clearer idea about what they need to birth into the world, a business opportunity, what they long to create, their artistic endeavor, or their artistic creativity is given more direction or depth, and they go deeper into that creative process. As well as even with healers, they are able to move through their own energetic blocks and move themselves into a deeper space of their own medicine and their own innate healing abilities. So healing the mother wound definitely does dissolve and dismantle creative blocks, so you can start moving in that area of creativity with much more flow and connectedness with who you are and what you need to bring through in that energy. How will healing the mother wound help my career and business? So I just touched on that before with the previous question, but it identifies where you are feeling disempowered and not in alignment with your career and business, and also to the creative blocks as well of what you need to bring through, because whether you're an artist or not, creativity is an inherent part of being embodied in the feminine. Creativity is how we move in our everyday. It's how we communicate, it's how we express ourselves, it's in how we communicate, how we relate, it's in how we pursue our creative ventures, how we bring through teachings and our, in our work and our medicine. So creativity is in every area of our life. We're all creative beings. And so what it helps with your career and your business is it will get that creativity flowing. It will get you rooted in your power. It will get you aligned with what you're wanting from your career, what you're wanting from your business, and it will also help you to birth new business ideas and get those business ideas really clear in what they are and what they need to be, and how they need to be brought through. And the last question that I had was, are we going into the past when we're healing the mother wound? And I would say yes and no to that. This work is not about dissecting and dismantling every event or traumatic experience that's happened to you in the past. It will potentially be an effect of doing the work, and that's why it's so amazing to do this journey and in that, because you have the support if that is how you deal with this and what you're needing to do. But it's not necessarily something that you need to really dive deep into and dismantle. This work is not about going into the past and changing the past. It's actually about accepting the past and seeing it for what it is, and using the experiences and the relationships of the past and bringing them into what is in the now, and using those opportunities once again to symbolically look at mother wound and to heal this wound in its present moment right now. So time is not linear. It's happening everything is happening all at once. And we will walk through this in the course as well, that the experiences that we have in the body are judged in the body, and the way the mind sees it, our memories see it, and the way our body experiences is two very different realities. So our mind sees it in linear time, and our body experiences in now time. So it can be triggered through an action, an experience, a relationship, a word, a feeling, and that experience can all of a sudden, it will trigger something in the body, and the body will have a memory of the wound, from the past, but doesn't understand that that's in the past. It will respond to it in the present. So the 12-week course that we're doing is I am guiding you in how to respond to your body in the present tense. When those things are triggered, how to support yourself and to heal and to guide yourself in that space when you're having an experience in your body from a memory or a situation from your past. So yes and no. I won't be going in and saying, let's have a look at all the stuff in your past. That's not the way the way that I work. Things rise. We give support to those things that rise. We give practice to those things that rise. You can seek support and guidance in that space. And then I bring in teaching you to support yourself through that space. And that's why this work is so transformational, because you can take these practices and this work and you can do this long after the course has finished, and you can continue to apply these embodiment practices, the meditations on how you listen to your body and support your body for when those things are triggered, because they will be triggered even beyond the course, maybe not as intensely, but it is a journey that we're going through, and I'm giving you the foundations for that journey so you can continue on that journey, into the future in an enjoyable and joyful way. So there's only, there's all the questions that I had. I'll just check if there's anybody here who has any questions that they want any clarification with. Pop them in the comments, or after the call, pop them in the comments and I'll jump back on and answer them in the group. I just want to say that there's 2 days left of for enrolment for the MotherWay course. I won't be running it in this format. Again, it is a very comprehensive course. It is 12 weeks. I know it's maybe seems like a very long time, but it'll be a very gentle and beautiful and nourishing journey that I'll be taking you on. And it is an in-depth course for healing the mother wound. And when this runs, it will be run again. It's going to be a regular course, but it will not be run in a 12-week format. It will be actually a much different course, and I'll be guiding it and teaching it in a much different way. And I'm actually, exploring that right now. And it will be at a different price point. So at the moment, it's $349 for 12 weeks. It's less than $35 a week. There's a payment plan option. There is also another option. It's $859, and you can work with me one-on-one, 6 one-on-one sessions, as well as the course, and you will have support in between those sessions directly with me. And there's also a payment plan for that as well. The link for enrollment is actually on the video, and I'll pop it in the comments as well. But when I run this course, it will not be at this price point. It will be much more expensive. There's a lot in the course. There's a lot of practices. There's a lot of guidance and teaching, and it's a really comprehensive journey into healing the mother wound. And so this, this is the last 2 days that you can enroll in the course at this price point in this format ever. So if you're kind of sitting on the fence, if you have any questions, let me know. But this is the only opportunity that you'll have to do this course with me in this format at this price point. So anybody have any questions? Not sure if you're here still, Robin, but if you are, thanks for being here on the call. Pop your questions in the comments, and if you have any other questions, even over the next couple of days, just pop them in the group and I'll answer them for you. You can DM me if you like. And 2 days for enrolments. Enrolments are closed on this Saturday, which is the 19th of September. Just keep an eye out in your inbox as well, because I'm sending emails out too. And I'll be in another group. So, and share your insights about the free series as well, because I really enjoyed hearing them. The DMs I've got's been really lovely, and I just love to hear the insights that you're gaining from the series. And I'll be posting another video here today, a welcome video, and have a look out for that video too, welcoming you to the group, because the group will remain open, and I'm going to continue to build a community of women who are looking at, healing their mother wound. And so this course, this group, I continue. I plan to continue to grow it and for it to be a group that we're resourced in as well, in supporting and guiding and witnessing each other as we move from that space of survival into thriving, and we start to resource ourselves within. So thanks for your time today, and have a really amazing day, and I will see you soon.